Hi guys. So today we're going to be learning about time. Some of you may have already gotten started in your chapter 7 math book, but time starts on page 509 in the chapter 7 math, and there are some problems on there with clocks. And so now I'm going to talk to you about the difference between digital clocks and analog clocks. The clocks in your math book might look a little different than the ones that you see at school or the ones that you see at home or on your parents' phones. Here is a slide of a bunch of different clocks that you might have seen so far in your life. You have the ones that look like your parents' phones, like this one right over here, and you have this one up in the corner and this one down here in the corner. Um, some of you, I have seen you have watches at school, so like these two. And some of you may have clocks hanging from your wall, and instead of numbers, they could have Roman numerals, which these lines right here represent numbers. And then I added a digital clock down here at the bottom. Some of the digital clocks even have the date with them. So the last one I'm going to talk about is this yellow clock over here. There we go, right there. This yellow clock is one that we work with at school that you may have seen in first grade or maybe you have seen around the classroom so far. This way, this clock is it's a learning clock that works that if you physically move the blue one, the red one automatically turns to help you learn how time works. And and so you can see all of the numbers that there are. And yeah, and so the first one that we're going to talk about is the analog clock. Now, I hope that you can see, yep, there we go. You can see this one on your screen. This is the analog clock. And so you have all of the numbers. You have the 1, 2, to all the way to 12. Those numbers represent the hours. So then if you look closely, you can see little notches there in between the numbers. The notches represent the minutes. So there are 60 minutes in each hour, and in between each number, you have five notches. So there's 5 minutes in between each number. Then there are long sticks right here that we call hands. And the hands, most clocks have two, maybe sometimes three hands. And the numbers on the numbers and the hands all make up the face of the clock. So you might hear that, what does the face of the clock say, or something like that. All of that clock that you see on the screen, that is the face of a clock. So you can see three hands on this clock, two black ones and one red one. And the shortest hand, the one right here pointing up at the 12, is the hour hand. So short is slow, okay? Think about short is slow, the S and the S. Now, the shortest hand goes around the slowest. It only goes around twice. If you can see, there are 24 hours in a day, so that means that the hour hand goes around 2 times. Because if you count to 24, halfway in between is 12. So it'll go around 2 times. Now, it would it would kind of look a little silly if you had 24 numbers all around that clock. It might be a little jumbled and hard to read. So, that hand goes around the clock every hour. Or sorry, the long hand then. We're going to talk about the long hand. This long hand is the one that's in between the 1 and the 2. And that hand goes around the clock every single hour. That is the minute hand. And so it'll end up going around the clock 24 times in a day. And then sometimes you can see the little hand that goes around very quick, a little hand that goes around really, really quickly. That's this red hand right here. That is the second hand. Now, that hand will go around every minute. There are 60 seconds in 1 minute, and so it'll go around 60 times in an hour. Wild, right? Okay, So now let's talk about digital. Oh, here's a little slide that I put together. So the shortest hand, remember down here, short is slow. The shortest hand equals the hours, and there are 24 hours in a day. So the hour hand goes around twice, okay? Then the longest hand is the minutes. There's 60 minutes in an hour, so it will make one full rotation each hour. So it'll go around 24 times a day. Okay, so now we're going to talk about digital clock. This is a digital clock that I have right here, and the digital clocks in your book look a little different. They're right below your analog clocks in a rectangular box. And so the first number on the left, which is the 4 right here, that is the hour hand. So that's telling you what hour it is. And then the two numbers right here tell you how many minutes have gone by in the hour. And then you have a colon, which is these two dots, and they separate the hours and the minutes so that you can tell the numbers, the difference between the numbers. Okay, so now the clocks that you see all around your house are a little different than, and can get kind of confusing when you start learning about time. So think about the analog clock, which is right here. Think about the analog clock having a face and numbers and the two hands, sometimes another hand. And then think about a digital clock, meaning, and right here, the digital clock, the first number is the hours, and the second number behind the colon is how many minutes have gone by in that hour. Cool? Okay, so your challenge this week is to find all the clocks that you can find in your house and count them up all together. And then go back and tally them up and see how many analog clocks you have versus how many digital clocks you have in your house. So that's your challenge this week. If you have any questions, talk to your teacher and report back to your teacher on how many clocks that you guys have in your house. Have a great week, everybody. Bye.